Hi everyone, this is Bob with another audio tutorial. This time we are going to take a look at a simple guitar/vocal recording and we'll see if we can make any enhancements to it. Now I'm using Logic Pro 10, but any DAW will work for this process. You may not have the same plugins that I'm using, but your stock plugins will work just fine. So what I have pulled up here is a stereo mix with an acoustic guitar and a vocal played and recorded by Daniel. Now Daniel is a very talented young man who just picked up the guitar a few years ago and is now discovering and experimenting with his voice and recording on a PC. This recording was done with a vocal mic and another on the guitar, all recorded in one take and at the same time. Daniel doesn't have an expensive DAW, converters, or expensive mics. Actually, I believe the software for his PC was a free download, something like Audacity or something like that. Maybe Daniel can post a comment and let us know what equipment he used. At any rate, this is a great example of minimal equipment used to make a great recording and just letting the talent shine through with little or no processing. So let's take a listen to what we have here.
He was born in the woods, torn from his home. He was naked and destined to be out on his own. He waited in darkness, hoping someone might see. From something so rough, what a treasure he'd be.
Okay, so you get the idea. Now, he did a great job on this recording. Positioning the mics in the right place is the key to getting a great sound. An inexpensive mic can sound great in the right spot. Keep in mind that moving the mic 1 or 2 inches will change your sound. So get your sound right when you're printing the track. You want to tweak the track later, not fix them. When we used to record to tape, we pushed the levels up to saturate the tape as much as possible. This would drown out the tape hiss and create some warm distortion that actually sounded good. In the digital world, you can't do this. Digital clipping is just nasty noise. So you want to make sure you get the gain staging correct and leave yourself with about 6 to 10 dB of headroom, as Daniel did here. The noise level on a digital recording is very low, so it's not a problem to use gain plugins or dynamic processing to bring up the levels later. Okay, so what can we do with this track to make some improvements? Well, maybe to your ear, nothing. I mean, this track was well recorded. He did a good job, and there's not a whole lot to do here except maybe a little bit of EQ and adjust the gain a little bit. We'll use some compression. We can put a limiter on here. And all of this needs to be done very subtle. So let's start with the EQ. And I'm going to go to the second chorus here. You can see as you follow this waveform, the intensity of this track picks up a little bit dynamically. So I'm going to go to a louder part of the song and we'll make some adjustments there, and then that'll serve the rest of the track well. So let's start with EQ. Now I'm going to use the same process that I used in my video EQing an acoustic guitar. So go watch that if you want a lot of details, because I'm just going to run through this pretty quick. The first thing I'm going to do is use a low pass filter, and I'm just going to run it down here to around 200 and steepen the curve a little bit. And I want to hear what's going on down here in these lower frequencies. I'm going to turn this analyzer on and we're going to take a listen. And what concerns me about this is all of this low end stuff here. Now, not a big deal when you just have one track like this, but if you were doing several tracks of acoustic guitar and you had this muddy bottom end down here really below 100 hertz, it would start piling up and really muddy up your mix. But we're going to be able to clean this one up a little bit because I can see what's going on down here. So I'm going to lower it a little bit more now. So now we're listening to everything below 100 hertz. All this other stuff here is grayed out above that. You can still see I've got something going on here. I'm going to increase the volume. So none of that sounds good. So all of that basically below 100, maybe from about 90 on, we'll just cut all that out. So we can definitely hear that. I'm going to use a high pass filter and come over here to around 90. And the process here was really to use this low pass filter to hear what it sounds like below there and where I want to do the cut. Then I actually do the cut by grabbing a high pass filter and then cut that out. Now the rest of this process, I'm just going to look below 1K down to 100 hertz to 1K, and basically I'm going to try to find some bad stuff and pull it out. That's what I'm on a hunt for, the bad stuff here. So let's see how that works out. So I'm going to use a bandpass filter here and just kind of go crazy here, narrow the Q down and just listen to this, and I'm going to sweep around and find some bad stuff here. So I know on an acoustic guitar I usually have some bad stuff between you know, like 100 and 200, so I'm going to be looking right in this area right now. So right there about 156, I didn't like that, so I'm just going to carve a little bit of that out. Let's listen to that one more time. Right there, yeah. So we're going to take that, carve that out, maybe just a couple of dB right there, and we'll go over to the next filter here. Take that little ringing out of there on that about 420 right there. Just again, just a couple of dB right there. We'll grab one more here. 530, we'll carve that out a little bit, and then let's listen to the rest of it now.
Stronger than steel and wood.
Okay, I'm going to grab a shelf here, a high shelf, and what that does is just boost. I can boost or cut everything above this frequency that I set the shelf at. So I'm going to try, we'll exaggerate a little bit and just move around and see what it sounds like.
Stronger than steel and wood. Seen me through the bad and good.
Okay, I like that. I'm just going to pull it down. Just brightens that up a little bit.
Stronger than steel and wood.
Now let's listen without it.
Stronger than steel and wood.
With it on.
Seen me through the bad.
So we took some of the mud out, carved some of the low mids out, and then brightened it up from about 38K and above. Okay, so that's good with the EQ. Now, how about some compression? It's going to be very subtle with, we'll use the Renaissance compressor. They all basically do the same thing. But what are we looking to do here? Compression, we want to take some of these peaks where you see, like there's one there. And we want to make sure that the compressor kind of hits that and lowers that just slightly. So we're going to take the peaks, knock them down a little bit, and then by adding some makeup gain, we'll bring up the quieter parts, and so the dynamic range will be squashed somewhat, but not for effect. It's just more for gain control. So if we can hear this plug-in when you put it in, you go, wow, boy, I really like the effect you put on there with the compression, then we've way overdone it. So this is not an electronic dance music. This is just a real simple, quiet acoustic guitar and vocal track. So you want to be real subtle here. So let me show you what I mean. I know we probably about a 2-to-1 ratio is probably all we need for this, but I'm going to go to 3-to-1 just to exaggerate a little bit. And then we're going to find a threshold where we want to start compressing. So what this means is as soon as the signal goes above this threshold that I set, we're going to compress it 3:1. So the ratio basically means that for every 3 dB above the threshold, we're only going to increase the gain by 1. So it's a 3:1 ratio. So let's take a listen here, and we'll play with this threshold till we get some compression.
Stronger than steel and wood, seen me through the bad and good. When I'm hanging by a string.
So notice the compressor kicks in right here. You'll see it kind of light up here. We're going to lower the attack a little bit so it kicks in a little bit quicker.
Stronger than steel and wood.
So notice on the quiet parts we're not compressing at all, and as soon as he gets a little bit louder, it compresses it, just reduces it a couple of dB. So we're kicking in about 3 dB on the louder parts, and so we're going to make up that gain by 3 dB. So what this will do now is this will bring the quieter parts, it'll make them louder, and then the louder parts, it'll tame it down a little bit. So let's see how this sounds.
Stronger than steel and wood, seen me through the bad and good.
So you see it's very subtle compression here. You should not even be able to hear this. This should be basically transparent. Let me go over here. I know there's a part right here. There's a couple of really loud spikes here with the guitar. See how he hit that real hard there? We want to make sure we capture that with the compressor to kind of knock it down.
Every little thing is understood. When I'm hanging by a string.
So there we go. That'll work for the compressor. Now the next thing we could do is bring the whole track up with a limiter. Here's what we're trying to do with the limiter. We're going to set the out ceiling to -1 dB. That means this is a brick wall. Nothing's getting past -1. This limiter is the last thing in the chain, so nothing is getting past this -1 dB that we're going to set here. So we're going to protect the stereo bus by not accidentally overloading it or clipping it. So you'll want to take a look at the video I created on mastering for iTunes to understand why I set this at -1. It has to do with inner sample peaks, and just go look at that video, and then you'll better understand why I do that. A lot of people set this up to 0 dB full scale and try to get it as loud as possible. This is not that kind of a track anyway. So what we're going to try to do is bring up the overall level of this track, and we don't want to go over this, so that's the out ceiling there. So we'll take a listen here.
Stronger than steel and wood, seen me through the bad and good.
So notice as I'm bringing the threshold down, it's bringing the volume up. And I want to find the louder parts like right here. And I just want to bump that -1.
His own voice, and you get what you give. Sometimes it's just a noise, but if you treat him well, he will last your life long if you're honest and open.
Yeah, threshold of about 9 seems to be working good for this. Okay, let's do a comparison now with and without the plugins. So let me just bypass the 3 plugins we put on there, and we'll just play a short section of the song here.
Stronger than steel and wood.
Okay, the same section with the plugins turned on.
Stronger than steel and wood.
So obviously louder and obviously brighter. Okay, so we brought the level of the track just completely up, cleaned it up a little bit, got rid of some of the mud, brightened the track up. We did some compression and some limiting to bring the overall track up. The only other thing you could do, since this does not have any kind of stereo field in it. There was only one guitar track recorded, one vocal track recorded. You could kind of spread this out in the stereo field a little bit. Let's try a stereo spread on this track and see what that does for us. So, tell you what I'll do. This is the power button. It's grayed out. It's off now. When I turn it on, it'll be lit up. I'll just turn it on and off so you can hear it.
Stronger than steel and wood, seen me through the bad and good.
One of the things you want to do is put some headphones on or listen to good speakers to hear this stereo imaging. But one more time with it off and then on.
Stronger than steel and wood, seen me through the bad and good. When I'm hanging by a string.
There we go. There's a couple little things you can do just very simply, just to kind of boost this track up a little bit and give it a little more presence, clean it up, and so there you go. All of this is subjective. It's just the way I would do it. I'm doing it, with my ears. Everybody's going to do this a little bit differently. But anyway, if you have any ideas, any comments, please leave them in the comment section, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.